Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you are in your part of the world. My name is Alexis Cano, and I am a Senior International Student Advisor with Texas A&M University, Kingsville. And I am going to give you this great session on what to expect at the port of entry. So if you want to just go ahead and relax, you can take notes if you'd like. Okay, so what to expect at the port of entry. Well, first of all, just to give you a bit of information about who we are, this is a list of the OISSS staff members here at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. And OISSS, which you'll hear me refer to a lot, that just stands for Office of International Student and Scholar Services. So our director, his name is Peter Lee. My name is Alexis Cano, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm a Senior International Student Advisor with the office. We also have Ms. Jessica Saavedra. She is an international student advisor as well, and then Ms. Veronica De Leon, who is another one of our advisors. You can see full descriptions as well as our photos on our website if you go to www.tamuc.edu/OISSS. Okay, so you got your F1 visa. That's great news. That's probably the hardest part in this entire process of coming to the US to study. Getting your F1 visa is a huge achievement for anybody. So if you have gotten your visa, congratulations to you. I'm very happy to hear that. But here's the thing. Now what? So now what do you do after you get your visa? It can seem a little nerve-wracking going to a different country that you may have never been to before. You may have never even been outside of your own country or your own home state. So now what do you do? Well, the next thing to do is to prepare for your travel. And this is what I like to call your pre-arrival preparation. So it's not just getting to the US, arriving to get here, it's even preparing before you get here. So first of all, make your travel arrangements to the US. You also want to notify our office of your visa approval and arrival, because that helps us to get ready for you to come, gives us an idea of how many students to expect and who we need to accommodate for orientation. You also want to pack your bags. That's very important. And organize your travel documents for the port of entry. Whenever I say the port of entry, I may refer to them as POE. And if I do, I'm sorry, I'm just so used to calling them that at this point. But the port of entry, also known as the POE. So again, you want to make your travel arrangements to the US, notify our office of your visa approval and your arrival date, pack your bags, and then organize your travel documents. And we'll go over how to organize those in just a bit. But first of all, what is the port of entry? Well, a port of entry is a point in the US border that allows for legal entry into the US. It can be entry by air, land, or sea. Most of you will be coming by air. And it is mandated by a US government entity known as Customs and Border Protection, also known as CBP. So if you ever hear somebody refer to the term CBP, they are most likely referring to the Customs and Border Protection or something to do with entry to the US or the port of entry. So these are the travel documents that you will need to prepare for your arrival here and going through the port of entry. We have required documents, the documents you absolutely need to get through the port of entry, and then we have recommended documents, the documents you want to have on hand, but you don't necessarily have to have in your hand. So the first document would be your valid passport, original valid passport, your valid F1 student visa, which will be in your passport, your original signed Form I-20. No copies of these documents, please. You want to keep all of these documents in your hands when you're going through the port of entry. Not in your bag, not in your carry-on luggage. Now, some recommended documents that you can also take with you. A copy of your acceptance letter. The school that your acceptance letter is from should match the school that is on your F1 visa and your I-20. I forgot to mention that earlier. Your F1, whatever school you got your visa with, that is the I-20 that you need to use to get into the port of entry. So even if you change your mind after entering and you want to transfer somewhere else, that is perfectly fine. That is completely up to you. However, when you're entering the US, you must carry your visa and the I-20 that matches the school on your visa. So again, recommended documents, copy of your acceptance letter from the school that matches your I-20 and visa, financial support documents, a scholarship or assistantship letter if you have one, your I-901 fee, CVIS fee payment, and a DSO contact information, and you can get that from our website. Now these documents, you can either, if they're not too bulky, you can keep them in your hand when you're going in through the port of entry, or perhaps in a folder ready to go, or you can keep them in your carry-on luggage. Either one is okay, as long as you have them organized and easily accessible. So maybe you have a backpack you're carrying with you, and you have your I-20, your visa, and your passport. Say the officer wants to see more information, have it ready to go. You're able to just pick it up in a folder and show them whatever documents you need, and know the order of the documents in the folder. So that's my recommendation to you. Either keep them in your hand or in your carry-on luggage, but keep them organized and ready to go. Okay, reporting requirements. This is very important. So when can you enter the U.S.? F1 students can enter the U.S. no earlier than 30 days prior to the program start date. Our program start date is the day of our orientation, and it is indicated on your Form I-20. Now, if you try to come after the program start date, that shouldn't be a problem as long as you come before the start of classes. That date is also indicated on your Form I-20. The start of classes for our school is August 21st. So if you try to come in after the start of classes through the port of entry, you may be denied entry. You must have special permission to do that. So if there is an issue where you may have to come after the start date of classes, you may be able to get special permission from your department. You can email us and let us know, and we can see if we can direct you to the department that you need to go to request that information, or request that permission rather. So again, no earlier than the program start date of your I-20. The program start date is indicated on your I-20, and fortunately, your I-20 also has a section that says the earliest admission date. So that also gives you an idea right there. No earlier than that date stated on your I-20. And when must you report to the school? You must report to the school by the program start date. Now, federal regulations allows for travel within the U.S. prior to reporting to your school. That means you can certainly go and visit people or go sightseeing maybe in the U.S. before reporting to the school. But again, you do need to report by the program start date. Not reporting to the school in a timely manner can result in CVIS termination, and that is not good. Whenever students come and report to the school, we actually have to then report that information to Department of Homeland Security. We're basically letting them know that yes, you came to the U.S. and you arrived to campus, and so that is why it's very important for you to come and check in with our office in person with your documents. And you'll be getting emails regarding check-in, letting you know what documents you need to bring to us for a proper check-in. Okay, so actually entering the port of entry. First of all, primary inspection. This is the very first part. The officer will ask some questions of you. The most common one is, what is your reason or intention for entering the U.S.? In your case, if you're coming in on an F1 student visa, your intention is to come to the U.S. to study and to complete your program of study. They will examine your documents for validity. So in other words, make sure that they are signed, they have the official signatures on them, and make sure that they are not copies. They are the original documents. They have to run your records to the database system, which happens very quickly. If you're approved at primary inspection, then you're granted entry into the U.S., and your Form I-94, which is your arrival and departure record, is issued electronically. Now, there are times when a student may need to go to secondary inspection. Secondary inspection is not a bad thing. All it means is that the officer needed more time than is allowed at primary inspection or is necessary at primary inspection to review your records. You have to remember these officers are under pressure to get everybody through, get everybody to their connecting flights. So sometimes there's not enough time at primary inspection for them to get all the information they need. So when that's the case, you may need to go to secondary inspection. Again, it does not always mean that something is wrong. That is the biggest thing students are afraid of, is that they did something wrong or something's wrong with their documents. Now, unfortunately for secondary, wait times do range from several minutes to several hours. And that just depends on the workload, the number of officers available to run the documents they need. We've actually spoken to Customs and Border Protection officers, and they do try their best to get everybody through as quickly as possible, but they do have a large number of people to see and to run their records. Officers must actually search through various databases, not just one, which is another reason it does take time. And each record that has your name on it, it must be thoroughly searched. So the most common example for F1 students would be if you got an I-20 from various universities. Say you got an I-20 from 10 universities and you chose to go to one, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, officers at the port of entry are required to search through each of those records just to make sure that you don't have two active records or you don't have a terminated record. So that's the most common thing that we see with the F1 students, is that they may have several I-20s and the officer just needs to go through each one to make sure that they're all okay. Best advice for secondary inspection: be patient, courteous, and respectful to the officers. When they ask you questions or when they ask to see documents, be brief, be honest, and just give them the information that they are requesting. 9 times out of 10, you'll get right out of there, and they'll get you to your connecting flight or wherever you need to go. Okay, so the baggage claim area. Once you're granted entry through the port of entry, you can then retrieve your luggage from baggage claim. Now, a baggage examination may be conducted, and this has actually happened to myself as well. Examinations are selected at random, or if they see something in the X-ray machine that they think looks a little weird, they may ask to search your bag. If selected, do not panic. Answer questions truthfully and respectfully. In my situation, I was coming back from the Philippines, and I had a lot of souvenirs in my luggage. And when they ran it through the X-ray machine, I guess it just looked a little weird. It was a lot of mugs, and so there were tons of circles in the X-ray. They actually showed it to us, and it was quite funny. But they just needed to make sure that I didn't have any weapons in there or anything. And I was very happy to allow them to go through my bag. I had nothing to hide. So same for you. If they do go through your bag, answer your questions truthfully and respectfully. I have also heard that they may ask to see your phone. So if you have a lock on your phone, please unlock it for them. Allow them to go through it. I know that is a little bit of an invasion of personal privacy, but you need to do what you need to do to get through. 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen again. That's just something that something that you should be ready for, basically, just in case. Oh, and resources are available on the handout. We will be emailing a follow-up to this webinar, and we will have resources for you in case you have any questions. I think it also has a helpful FAQ about baggage claim information. Okay, so the Form I-515A. A Form I-515A, it provides you temporary legal status in the U.S. that is 30 days long, okay? Now, this form is most often issued when documents are incomplete. So maybe your I-20, for whatever reason, doesn't have a DSO signature on it. Or maybe you don't have the original because you didn't have time to get it in the mail, but you have a copy of it that a friend sent to you. We will never send you copies, so it would have had to be somebody else. But those are the most common reasons, that you don't have all the documents that you need. But other than that, you are admissible to the U.S. according to Customs and Border Protection. So what they'll do is they'll give you this Form I-515A that will grant you temporary legal status. So if you do get one of these documents, you want to bring it to OISSS. Let us know. We can assist you in processing this with SCVP so that you can get it mailed back out to them and come back in with your actual I-94 record. Now, here's the thing. You must be eligible for legal status in order for us to help you. So again, as long as you are admissible, as long as we can prove that you have legal status in the U.S., we can definitely help you with this. So if you get one of these forms, I-515A, make sure you come to our office and present it right away. Okay, that is pretty much it, guys. I know it's a lot of information. We will have a recorded version of this webinar available on our website, and we will be emailing you to let you know that. So until then, if you have any questions or concerns, please contact us. You can always find a lot of good information on our website at temuk.edu/OISSS, or you can email our office at oisss dot, or sorry, rather at tamook.edu. Again, that's oisss at tamook.edu. Thank you so much for being here, taking time out of your day to come and meet with us. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you later.